Welcome into Daily Insider Fun Friday we have for you guys. The NBA play-ins are finally coming up to wraps here tonight, Friday, and then we're deep into NBA playoffs. We're going to dive into some hot takes today. To join me, we have Tommy Freeze Pops, Vegas Insider contributor, and we also have the first time I'm ever on the airways with him, Devin Walker. Devin, I'm so pumped to be on with you. This is my first time being on the show with you.
Stephanie, absolute pleasure. Big fan. We've got the Holy Trinity here today. It is a triple threat. I've got a lot more three jokes coming in this broadcast, and I'm very excited to dive into my NBA hot takes because I'm telling you right now, Vegas Insider has never seen hot takes like this from me, and that's a bold statement considering I took the over on Orioles wins in the last episode.
That's the most legendary play that's ever been said on the Vegas Insider airs. Like, I was getting DMs from other people in the biz, like, yo, what is this guy talking about? And I'm like, just let my man cook.
Yep.
Someone at WinBet actually DM'd me when we were announcing that you were joining the team. They were like, I have to meet him. I have to jump on. We have to do like a meet and greet for you. I have to admit though, I didn't watch the challenge, but ever since watching you on Vegas Insider, I've loved your takes. Very entertaining.
I appreciate that. Yeah, the challenge is not for everybody, but I would advise, as if you have a relationship with me outside of that show, it's a good watch because you can see it from a different level. So I would definitely recommend at least the Cliff Notes.
And if you're a sports fan, sorry, Steph. I was just going to say, if you're a sports fan, I highly recommend the challenge. A lot of people call it America's fifth professional sport.
Number 5.
So
is it like Fear Factor?
It's like Survivor.
I know you do challenges.
It's like Survivor, but you live in a mansion instead of the woods.
Oh my gosh, this is like glamping. This is the glamping version of Survivor. Yep. Wait, that'd be fun. Can we do a Vegas Insider version?
That would be fun.
Would like win, but
you never know. I've definitely, I can't get out of my own way apparently on these things. So we'll see what happens in the future. But I wouldn't give it to you right away.
Into play, though? Is there a social vote? Like, do they vote people off?
Yeah, we've got it's very political. I would say that it's probably 70-30 political.
Oh my god!
And yeah, like I guess strategic versus physical. So there's definitely physical challenges. You need to obviously be somewhat fit. I'm clearly not a glimmering example of that, but you need to be able to carry your own weight and. But also you have to be pretty mentally tough. So it's a lot like, I guess, real sports in a sense.
America's fifth sport.
Hashtag. Heard it here first.
Yeah, well, I will tune in now that I have the pleasure of being on the air with you. But we have NBA play-ins tonight. I'm curious to see your hot take. I was in favor of the Hawks earlier, but now that I'm diving deeper into it, I see the value in taking the Cavs. Right now they're an underdog by 2.5. I know you only take plus points. So are you going Cleveland on this one?
I typically only take plus money, but that is why I will be taking the Hawks and putting them in a parlay. 100%, no doubt. I think Cleveland's all done. Even if Allen comes back, I just don't see him being able to get over the hump and really even be competitive in this game. Again, I won't be surprised if the Hawks win this by double digits. I mean, Garland is an incredible basketball player, but I think Trae Young's going to be too much. And the way Clint Capella is playing right now, he's going to be a nightmare inside. You throw Bogdanovic in the mix there, hitting threes, and they got a lot of guys that can spread the floor. I like the Hawks tonight for sure.
Oh, go ahead, Steph.
But I'm thinking the Jared Allen injury. It was reported yesterday afternoon that he's likely to play. How well will he play? But do you think that the line is focusing too much on that because the Hawks have injuries too?
Yeah, every NBA team right now is battling at least some version of an injury. Whether or not it's going to keep people out, that's a different question, right? But we know that you don't get to this point in the season if you're not a little bit banged up. These guys spend millions of dollars on their bodies, so they're obviously doing everything that they can to be at 100%. But I think it's very unlikely that anybody's going out there and physically is 100%. So the injuries on both sides don't play as much of a factor for me. I just think that star power wins these kind of games and experience wins these kind of games. And I like the Hawks there. I mean, Kevin Love, fine. He's definitely got some juice. LeVert he's been there, he's played in big games, but outside of those two, I just don't see the Cavs really having that experience that's going to put them over the edge.
Devin, you disappoint me because you're forgetting our guy, Big Game Rondo. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Hold on, let me switch everything.
Big Game Rondo on national television is like Michael Jordan.
Well,
I mean,
so the last 4 seconds of that game, the over-under was, I had bought a point, right? And the over-under was, I bought it down from 226.5 to 225.5. And it looked like absolutely no chance with 4 minutes left in the fourth. Then they start fouling, hitting threes. They're making free throws. And it comes down to a Rondo three-pointer with 223 total points. Would have covered by a half a point. And he completely bricks it. Wide open three. Clock winding down. Did it matter? No, but it mattered to me, Rondo. So he's already let me down once. I'm not going to let him do it again. Give me the Hawks.
I'm taking the Cavs, dude. I'm taking the Cavs. The Hawks are a lot more banged up than people are talking about. And I know, Devin, you brought up the point of every team is dealing with injuries right now. But I just feel like Cleveland at home, and Steph, you can talk to this, Cleveland fans are kind of rowdy, right? So you got these two young superstars in the making in Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. They're not superstars yet, but they're on the path to being those type of players in the future. And they're going up against a Hawks team that outside of Trae Young, I'm not all that impressed with. I know they made a run last year, but that was when the East was a little bit weaker. I mean, guys, the Knicks were in the playoffs last year. So that tells you everything you need to know. So, I mean, John Collins is probably going to miss this game. Lou Williams coming off the bench for Atlanta is out. Bogdanovich is questionable heading into this one, so he's not going to be 100%. So you're leaning on Trae Young to take over. I know he's an incredible offensive force, but Mobley and Garland are awesome. And I think that they're going to rise up for this moment here. And I know, look, if Allen's out and it seems like it's a 50-50 shot, all the reporting is it's straight up at 50-50 at this point, it's going to be a coin flip game. If they get Allen with those two young bucks, I don't know, man. I'm feeling the Cavs here on the money line. Call me crazy. I'm leaning Cleveland, baby. Cleveland rocks. Yeah. Yeah. And Rondo. Come on. I got to support my man Rondo.
This is kind of a tough one because if it was like a 7-game series, I have family. My family's from Ohio, and they all have moved to Atlanta. So it's like a cultural divide here. Like, where's my loyalty? But the Cavs were our only NBA team, our only pro team that we really had because of LeBron when I was growing up. So I'm with you, Tom, though. Like, I think that their home environment is tough. Like, I've been to Atlanta Hawks games. I've been in that locker room, over the past couple of years. Until last year, you had to pay people to go to games. Like, I remember the PR staff was like trying to give out tickets, and guys would rather take a fine than talk to media after games. Like, it was just bad. I think the last year's run kind of helped things out. But when you're talking about like a fan base, like really pumping up the crowd, I think Cleveland's got that. And that could be an edge there. And Tom, you alluded to all the injuries. I think that there's too much focus, especially with the sports books, on Jared Allen. And he could get in tonight. It's likely he gets in. So I feel like
it's sneaky. It's a sneaky little X factor. I don't think people are realizing it. That people go hard in Cleveland.
As much though, I can't say that it's helped the Browns over the years.
Dog pound.
I will say this as well, just to piggyback on your points now. I'm looking at the NBA.com official bracket on their website, and it's got Miami versus Cleveland. Conspiracy? Potentially.
Oh, Okay, we're going there. We're going there already, huh? We're what?
Allegedly, the game's decided, NBA. I didn't know that. I thought they still had to play.
We're 10:05 into this show, and we've already started to talk conspiracies.
Tinfoil hat,
I'm with you, though. That is very suspect.
I don't love it for my pick. I don't love it for me.
As someone who works for a sports media website, I can tell you that that's probably just a filing error by someone behind the scenes. And there's probably some sort of Slack message going out right now saying, "Hey, idiot, can you change that out, please?" But yeah, like I'm down. I'm down.
Well, Devin, have we talked you into sticking with your usual trend of not taking
While you guys were making very valid points, I'm also getting text messages from some people that are tuning in that I trust highly in gambling. Again, shout out Seth Locker, the locksmith, and he's saying absolutely 100% Cleveland. So now it's 4-on-1. Now it's 4-on-1. We got two members of the dream team, right? And my most trusted betting advisor all telling me to go Cleveland here. And they're an underdog, and it's a home game. I mean, now I'm torn.
Like, what do you do? And they have Rondo. How many times do I have to tell you?
Rondo.
They have
over under.
Rajon
Rondo. I was Hawks yesterday, and the more I look into it, like the report that Jared Allen's probably getting in, that helped things out. But I just think there was too much focus on him. Like, there's injuries with the Hawks too, and it's like recency bias. I think I talked about it yesterday on Daily Insider. I think too many people are like looking at how they had that series run last year. And it's like, look at this team as a whole. It hasn't gone well over the years. So I think that the one playoff run last year is tying into things.
Tipping the scales a little bit. Yeah, I can see the public too. I wonder if that line has at all been affected by the public, because I imagine that you're looking at the way the Hawks performed last game, and I can see majority of money being on the Hawks here. So I guess that could have pushed the line as well. But I don't know. I think there's something about a superstar in a game like this. And I get that Garland is there. He's close, but he's not Trae Young. And I think Trae Young has a chip on his shoulder. I don't think he's gotten the credit that he deserves. I saw a stat. I think he led the entire NBA in points and assists. Is that correct? I think it is. He's a monster. He's a monster. He's gonna have 35 and 10. And if he's doing that, I don't know. I think that's tough to beat. But I respect the juxtaposition here, and I see the home court in Cleveland. I get it. That's a tough place to play. Tough place to live in general.
Come on.
Yeah, tough place to go to, Cleveland. All right. Tough place to visit. All right. So I can imagine that they're going to be pretty wild in there tonight.
Okay, Steph, rank the cities in Ohio top 3.
Gosh,
Cleveland, Cincy, Columbus.
No,
go.
Trust me. When I went to the Cotton Bowl, all my Cincinnati friends, I went to Miami, Ohio, and all my friends were about an hour in Cincinnati. I would intern there at Kiss Window 7, and I would have Cincinnati Fridays. And every time I grew up in Columbus, I have spent time in Cleveland, and I interned in Cincinnati. And I was going out to the Cotton Bowl to watch UC play Alabama. And I had a hot take. Apparently, I didn't know that so many people, everyone was DMing me. I ranked the cities, the 3 Cs in Ohio. I had Cleveland number 1, then over my hometown of Columbus, and then I did Cincinnati. And the income of DMs that I had was crazy. It was all Cincinnati. And I was like, Cincinnati sucks. They call it the natty, like nasty natty. It's not great. Even Burrow, he even like grew up there in Northeast Ohio, and he said like not many people want to live here. I don't know. Columbus is fantastic during football season. After that, I don't really need to be back home, but Cleveland always has something. Like, I love their downtown area. Tom, you went there, the freaking NFL Hall of Fame.
Cleveland. Well, so that's Canton. I mean, Canton is like greater Cleveland. It's like what, about an hour outside of Cleveland?
Gets to claim Canton. They get to claim each other.
So I didn't know that because I'm not an Ohio guy, but Canton is very much so not a city. Like, I spent like 4 or 5 days in Canton. Like, Canton, I love the Hall of Fame. It was great hanging out with all the Hall of Famers, but Canton is kind of a tough hang. And like, I needed to stay at a hotel in, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Steph. Is it South Akron? Like, is Akron above above Canton. So I think it was South Akron where I was staying. Tough scene.
Akron's like more suburban. Like I like friends from like the Akron area. Like I went to school, like went to like colleges in Ohio, but I only really know Cleveland. But the downtown area is so nice. You can literally go to an Indian or Guardians game now and then walk right over to an NBA game. Because I was going, I would go to the series run, walk right on over to NBA playoffs. You know, it was like, what's up, Cleveland? Like, we're always on the map.
Cleveland's underrated. I'd spent one night in Cleveland when I was moving out to St. Louis. My dad and I did a road trip, and I had a friend that was in Cleveland, so we spent the night there. And it was like a Tuesday night, and that's a drinking town. Like we had a
I take it back. I like Cleveland. I'm flip flopping all over the place. I gotta stick to my guns on something here.
I wanted to talk about.
Okay, just to wrap up Cleveland though.
One more point on Cleveland.
Yeah, it's a place that like literally you don't want to live there all the time, but it is a home. Like it always feels like a home. There's always like neighborly vibes. So it's a place that you'll always be comfortable. Like I'm in New York City. It doesn't feel like a home. Cleveland.
That's such a Midwest. That's such a Midwest thing to say. I love it. So Cavs without Jared Allen over the last 19 games, it's been tough for them, right? And over the last 13, they're 2-11. So like I understand why everyone's hot on the Hawks, you know, coming off that win. They got Trae Young. I think the mojo of the Cavs giving the Nets a really hard-fought battle the other night, like making that comeback, you know, it was a close game. The Nets did not blow out the Cavaliers like everyone thought they were going to. I don't know. I got a little Cleveland in my heart here. Stephanie just told us why Cleveland was awesome.
What if we meet in the middle and I take some Cleveland player props?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay. You're feel right parlay, just hedge it out. Yeah, if you have the parlay going already with the Hawks, then hedge your bet slip up.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna go. I'm just rattling things off here. I'm going Mobley rebounds. Okay.
I was gonna say Mobley rebounds. Way to go.
I'm going Kevin Love 3-pointers. I'm going Garland points. Put it in a 3-person player prop parlay. You heard it.
I knew you were gonna parlay that. I knew it was gonna be a parlay.
It's gonna be somewhere around plus 650, if I had to guess. I'm hammering it.
I love it.
The interesting thing about these two teams, you guys, they have the same exact odds to win the NBA championship, 150-1. Same exact odds.
That feels right to me. They're pretty. I mean, there's a reason why these teams are playing in this game, right? They're pretty evenly matched. I mean, Trae Young is by far and away the best player among the two. Like, if you're drafting this series, he's going to be the number one pick every single time. So outside of him, I feel like these teams are pretty evenly matched when healthy. So yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a better game than people realize. I'm going to be tuned into this one tonight.
Anybody looking at the total?
I think it goes over. I think 222.5 right now at SI Sportsbook. I know that Jared Allen might not play. If he does, I think this thing goes over.
It's tough for me to. I just got burned on that over in that Cavs game. I just got burned. So, I mean, should I go back to the well? Probably. Should I do a same game parlay? Yeah, likely. Probably going to throw one in. Why don't I just tease the game through 0 too and just cross off every wrong thing you can do while gambling? Player prop parlays.
Devin, you bet a lot when you're out drinking. Do you just like place a lot of bets? I can see you just going like F it, let's do it, let's go.
I've definitely hit the rehammer a few times while I've had a few cans. That's something that I do. I'm known for that. It's like my bet slip sometimes is like 12:59, 1:03, 1:05. It's like I just so yeah. Depending, brunch gets a little saucy. Who am I to deny my inhibitions, right? So.
Oh my God, that is the best line I've ever heard. We need that on a t-shirt. Brunch gets a little saucy.
It does. It's just my finger hammering itself on, cracking the screen.
You're sitting at brunch, you're crushing some mimosas, maybe a bloody or two, and you got some EPL on, and you're just hammering away. Why not?
Speaking of brunch, My bat phone's going crazy over here.
Okay.
Allegedly, no Paul George.
Ooh.
Oh, did that just break?
Oh, I don't
Devin
know.
Walker, breaking news.
I think I just broke news for the first time.
Okay, let's
Wow.
head to the Twitter machine. I am going to type in the
was the
name
Woj
Paul
bomb?
George. Yep, Woj 4 minutes ago. Clipper star Paul George has entered health and safety protocols and will miss tonight's play-in
What's the
game
book?
versus New Orleans. Sources Tim Bontemps and me. Wow.
Wait, is that like so that's a COVID situation?
What? So health and safety protocols, generally speaking, in the world of COVID, means COVID. But
Oh man,
they don't specify it from the jump. But I mean, that's my gut. Not to speculate, but that's been kind of the way it's gone.
I'm trying to check the books right now and see if it changed.
Yeah, if he went out and like got in close contact, he's going to get crucified by that fan base.
So this is where things sit right now. But these numbers are going to change. We had the Clippers as a 3.5-point favorite heading into this game against the Pelicans. I was going to take the Pelicans. I'm all underdog heading into tonight, and I think a lot of people were kind of with me on that. And
get it now.
Now that Paul George, and actually, funny you say that, Steph.
Bet now.
I actually took the bet about 15 minutes before we started with the Sportsbook RI. I took the Pels at +4 at -110, and I took them on the money line as well at +155.
Cash it.
Thank you very much. I will be paying for dinner tonight with my Pelicans winnings. But no, that's huge, guys. Paul George being out is, I don't need to tell you, it's massive. We're going to see line movement here shortly.
I was about to say, what do you guys project the line to be after this? Do you think it flips?
Oh, man.
They're the underdog now?
That's probably
maybe down to 1.5.
I'd say it'll get down to even. I think we see this at a pick 'em by tip off. I can see that. I can see Paul George being worth 3 because like someone else is gonna. It's not like the shots that he's taking aren't going to be taken, right? It's just someone else is going to take those shots. So I can see. I mean, he's been playing very well, but also like I don't know, was he ever really 100%? I like the Pelicans from the beginning here. I like them more now, obviously. There's something about this Clippers team, though. They will not go away, and they just got embarrassed. The Timberwolves embarrassed them, and they did, obviously that big celebration, and it was the whole, should their decisions being questioned on, not signing the right guys. So I can see their locker room being like, okay, now no PG, our backs against the wall, let's play this game. I think this will be close for sure.
Okay, but then who are you handing the ball to? Reggie Jackson? Like, look, I love me some Reggie Jackson as a BC guy, but like,
here's what where the Clippers rank when it's like statistically when Paul George is in. Offensive rating, number 1. Defensive rating, number 6. Net rating, number 1. Effective field goal percentage, number 3 with Paul George since his return.
Okay.
He's really good.
He's an impact player.
No, he's an amazing perimeter defender, and he can shoot the lights out. Last game, he was 34 points, 6 of 12 shooting. And yeah, they lost, but like, if you're watching that game, guys, Paul George, he was throwing up threes at the end there. And it's like no affect at all. Just people like to make fun of the playoff P thing, but like that guy is level no matter what is happening in a game. And that's to his detriment sometimes, but that also can be great in the playoffs. And the Clippers losing that guy, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say that. I mean, who are they really going to? Serious question. Like, who? Kawhi's not there. They got no Paul George. So is it Reggie Jackson time? Westbrook Jr.? Like, I know he had some big games last postseason, but
is Kennard? I believe Kennard's also out.
Kennard's out.
That's what I was looking at initially. So, I mean, the answer is who, if now we're back into our player prop scenario, right? It's not going to be Paul George. Someone has to score. They're going to score 100 points. Who's going to get them? Give me Batum over threes.
Yes. Batum player props. I would go Reggie Jackson player props here because he's not. I'm not saying he's going to win you the game, but he's going to be. Oh, okay. Paul's out. Looks like I'm the guy. Like,
And
that's going to happen.
Terrence Mann's going to get some
How many
run.
do you think CJ McCollum will put up?
He's good. He's good for about 30 every game. I mean, he's a beast. So I'm glad you brought up CJ, because since they brought him
Ohio
in,
guy, Cleveland area, Canton, Ohio.
Shout out Canton.
Yeah.
Didn't he go? Where'd he go? Lehigh?
Yeah, he did go to Lehigh.
So.
Yeah. Shout out
Snow
Lehigh.
was a coach when I covered the NBA, and he coached him.
Patriot League.
Brown. Big Brown.
Really ugly jerseys. But anyways, so they brought him in early February. I think his first game with the Pelicans was February 10th. Since they brought him in, they've been averaging almost 116 points a game. Before CJ McCollum, in 34 games, they were at just around 108 points a game. So, I mean, that's a massive difference to for a team mid-season. Like, that's a big jump. And yes, there's no Zion, but CJ McCollum has seemingly complemented Brandon Ingram perfectly. And Ingram, I mean, for him to go to LA, and I know they're not playing the Lakers, but like Laker fans, they loved Ingram, but he definitely took it on the chin from them at times. And I remember there was some social video floating around out there with Ingram like talking crap to some Laker fans this season when he was walking off the floor or something. Like, I think he's going to be motivated to have a big game in that building, even though it's now called Crypto.com Arena instead of the Staples Center. I think he's going to be motivated here. With Paul George out, everyone try and hammer the Pelicans before they take that thing down while they try and change the odds. Go hammer it.
I like Jackson Hayes tonight too. I like Jackson Hayes a lot. I think he's been playing really well. And in the, with no Paul George, you got to look at Norman Powell. Those are going to be two for me that are probably sleepers. I wonder if those lines have adjusted right now. We broke the news.
Down to 1.5. Sure I called it. I said it's going to drop down to 1.5. That's the spread right now. At least in MGM. Yep.
Woo. Okay, let me check it. Let me check it at the SI Sportsbook. But I'm guessing that will be uniform across the board.
I call that, guys.
That was exhilarating. Live news is exhilarating.
Yeah, wow. I feel like
being on the field during breaking news is pretty chaotic. But after the fact it happened, you're like, made it through. But usually in the moment, you're just like frantic.
Okay, but what about being on the internet during breaking news, Steph?
Hello.
Looking at
way better.
Being on Twitter during breaking news is fun.
We're on fire.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the SI Sportsbook right now, one of our great sponsors here at Vegas Insider, and they don't have numbers up right now for the game. So they're clearly rejiggering things behind the scene.
When you first said it, I didn't see it on the books. And so I was looking at each book, and that was the first one where I found it.
Wow. So, breaking news. How do we even talk about anything else right now, guys?
Well,
you guys, yesterday on Daily Insider, we were talking about whether the Clippers would be a dark horse during the playoffs.
Not even.
So who's the new dark horse? Honestly, we're talking hot takes. Is it my Dallas Mavericks?
Okay. The real new dark horse, my dark horse, and I don't really even know how wild this would be, but I love the Denver Nuggets.
Oh. Yes, Devin. Yes. I was going to mention this. I am all in on the Nuggets as well. I'll let you go first. I'm in, dude. Yeah, but Golden State's
the best player.
Golden State's not having 100% with Steph Curry here.
And deserves MVP.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean Jokic isn't awesome.
Okay, but what have we learned, you guys? Going back to Cleveland, you can't win with one guy. You can't win with one guy unless you're Giannis Antetokounmpo. Although he did have a great supporting cast.
LeBron's dragged a few really bad teams across the postseason a few times. But anyways, Devin, tell me why you love the Nuggets, and then I'll tell you why I love the Nuggets. And maybe we like the Nuggets for the same reason.
I mean, you've got, obviously, a 7-footer who can stretch the floor, and it is the best passing big man in generations, and a bunch of guys that can hit corner threes. I mean, that's the rest. We've seen this play out before. They play small, right? And they play defense, and they shoot corner threes. That's the recipe for success in the NBA as of late. Or you have to be the Bucks, and you have to have a guy that's 6'11" that can dunk on people's head at the rim and shoot 80% from the line. Those pick your recipe, right? It's either the Warriors of old, where they're just shooting threes and playing defense, or it is we're going to dominate the post and we're going to hope to win, 125 to 121. So those are your options. And I think that Denver can do that. They have guys that can spread the floor. They have the best passing big man who's going to have 35 and 18 every game. Give me the Nuggets. And I hate Draymond Green. Never liked him.
Draymond is definitely a polarizing guy. I mean, piggybacking off of what you just said, I don't think that a combination of Kevon Looney and Draymond Green at this age, and I know he's still a great defensive player, can slow down the Jokic train here. And it's like they're channeling that 09 Magic team that was way ahead of their time, right? Big man that can just either he dunks it or he kicks it out for a three. And Jokic, much better passer than Dwight Howard was back in the day. The Warriors have Steph Curry banged up right now. And I know that he's likely going to play, but he hasn't played in 12 games. Maybe part of that was him resting for the postseason. But look, without Curry 100% and you got Jokic playing the way he's been playing, do you really think that you can lean on Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson to lead you to a victory here in this series? So
this one will go to 7. I don't think I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think this goes 7 games. But I like primetime Joker. I like the MVP of the league to show up in a game 7 and dethrone our dynasty, our generation's dynasty, right? It's got to stop at some point, Golden State. As a Patriots fan, I know it actually can last forever, but I feel like he could be the one right now that's kind of sends a see you later, at least for a little while. And
Steph, defend the Warriors.
No, I was going to say, I don't think the Warriors, I'm all in on Suns, at least out west, but I don't think the Warriors have claim to the generation anymore. They had a good run against the Cavs. They dominated the majority of that. But they've been kind of quiet as of late. Their top 3 guys have only played 12 minutes together. They're banged up. They're in the mix just because of the guys on their roster. But really, do you have all guys on your roster? I think it's opened up more. I think if there's going to be a dark horse, it would come from the West. East is just too loaded up. But the Grizzlies would probably be the best dark horse. I just don't know how much I would favor them considering how young they are. But then again, I look at the Suns and they've been rock solid all year, even with guys going in and out. They are still great when they're leading 2, or whether they're both in, not in, one or the other. But we saw them choke at the end of last year. That still doesn't go past my mind. I feel bad for Chris Paul not getting a ring, but let's think, why hasn't he had one yet?
So you do like the Warriors over the Nuggets?
Over the
Pick
Nuggets.
A side.
Yeah.
No.
Stop deflecting, Steph.
No. I thought we were talking Suns. Like, I'm just taking Suns all day in the West, but Warriors over Nuggets, yes. I think that even if you're injured, I think Steph will get in. Even if we're going to talk Dallas, I think Luka will only miss 1 game. So I think if you're going to take a dark horse, maybe the Mavs, just because
we're not talking dark horses. We're not talking Mavs. Warriors, Nuggets.
It's a no for me. It's a no for me. They had one.
No for me, dog. No for me,
dog. You want to know what's a yes for me? And you mentioned their opposition here. This isn't breaking news, so it's not going to be the moment of the episode, but it could be close. Give me the T-Wolves. Give me the T-Wolves winning this series. I do not trust Ja Morant. I don't trust him. No, I don't trust little Russell Westbrook. I don't trust him. He plays too wild. High chance of injury. It's not sustainable. Give me the T-Wolves in 6.
They're 20-5 when Ja Morant's not playing. It's not all him. Like you have your Nuggets and Jokic. Like it's Ja Morant isn't his whole team, even though he could be. Like he's that good, but they got guys around him. They're young, but they're stepping up. You're talking about vets who aren't winning the playoffs.
Anthony Edwards. Okay.
He's a beast.
That is my guy.
The Ant-Man.
They asked him, are you upset you didn't win Rookie of the Year? He goes, I don't care about Rookie of the Year. I want to be MVP. Give me that guy. Give me that guy in the playoffs.
I do
Give
like
me the
that.
T-Wolves,
I do like that.
7-2. We're talking dark horses. There's mine. I don't think they'll get out of the second round.
I've heard
but that
rookies
opening
talk
round,
all the time, though. Let's see the rookie get MVP at some point.
I will say
in 6.
Well, so I think Wes Unseld won MVP in his rookie season in like 1970 something, but don't quote me on that. So I kind of like the way you're rolling here, Devin, because look, the Grizz were fun all season. And like, I think they have a very underrated group because they're Memphis, right? Everyone loves John Morant. They're fun highlights. Yay. But the West isn't what it used to be, right? So like they had a great season in the Western, a depleted Western Conference, right? So we need to just kind of level set here. It's kind of like those Celtics teams that were like a top 3 seed when Isaiah Thomas was running the show in Boston. And like, we all knew that we were kind of fooling everyone like, oh yeah, Celtics, they're the 1 seed or 2, but like we all knew they kind of sucked. Kelly Olynyk was like their 3rd best player. It's sort of, to me, feels like the same situation. And then I look at Minnesota. Karl Anthony Towns was horrible the other night, right? But that's not going to happen again. Like that guy is rock solid across the board. That guy can score. He plays defense. He did 1 bad game though, right? Like,
and really bad refereeing.
Yeah, it was. They were calling that game tight. They were calling that game really tight. So you get Cat, you get the Ant-Man, you got P. Bev, who is going to be all up in Ja's shorts. Like he is going to get in that dude's head. And maybe Ja isn't shakeable like that, but like those guys are gonna clash at some point. Like that's gonna happen. That's what Patrick Beverley is in the league to do. Easy. And then D'Angelo Russell thinks he's the best player in the NBA. And you kind of need a guy like that in your locker room to win a title. And he's wet as hell. Like D'Angelo Russell is so underrated across the board, in my opinion. I think he's one of the best scoring guards in the league.
I think that's a good point.
So yeah, and he's a Buckeye, remember. So that's
I'm ready for that.
Ah, he's a Buckeye. So
do you not love Ohio yet?
Someone needs to put an Ohio shout-out tally up on the screen because we must have hit our quota. There's no way we have.
I was listening to Great Day Nation yesterday, and I was like, all right, we need to like, it should be a drinking game anytime I bring up any type of reference to something related to Ohio.
Yeah, we're having an on-air production meeting right now, and I'm going to pump that to the top of our line item for next episode.
Okay. Devin, you have to tell me if you agree with this. Tequila pickleback. That has to be the shot.
Wait, what?
Dude, it's very good. Very, very good.
We're going.
Try it.
What are we going? Mezcal? Are we going añejo? We go Blanc? What are we doing here?
I just like clear tequila. I don't like the
All right, we're going Blanco.
Okay,
fair.
Yeah.
A little 1800.
It doesn't even matter because the pickle juice just like cleans it all out. And it's so good.
I do love a pickleback. Picklebacks.
Yes.
Picklebacks are very
a trend here.
Yeah, I like picklebacks as well, but pickleback tequila shots, I just haven't crossed that bridge yet. I'm not crazy enough to do that.
And how is that crazy?
It sounds like a date to me. It sounds like the 3 of us are going on a date. We're going to go do some tequila picklebacks.
And we're going to cash in money on the Cavs.
In Ohio.
That's right.
Out west, we are not in agreement.
Exactly. We're going to go to Cleveland, and we're going to use my Pelican wins, and we're going to take tequila pickleback shots while we watch D'Angelo Russell unseat the Grizzlies.
And I'm going to live hammer over and over again.
Go Buckeyes.
Also, you guys, I want to create the hashtag bet and brunch. Bet and brunch.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that idea where you just post up some Bloody Marys and just fill up your bet
bottles. It's got to be bottomless. It's got to be bottomless mimosas and live hammering.
I've heard Dave Jacoby with ESPN say this before. Sometimes if you just come up with a good enough name for something, it doesn't even need to really make sense as a show. You just ride that name until the show makes sense.
Bet and brunch
is kind of feeling to me like we need to flush that one out. Like that's a show waiting to happen.
Literally.
100%.
And then hey, Devin, we have a studio out in Miami. We would just need to find a great brunch spot. Hey, yo, be our sponsor. Me and Morton have been like trying to get these neon signs of Vegas Insider.
Oh my God.
We will put that up at the restaurant and everyone knows that they can come in, bet and brunch with us.
100%. I got big connections in Miami. We may be able to make this happen. I'm a big South Beach guy. My debut actually on this show was from Miami.
It's true. It's a fact.
Full circle. Speaking of full circles, basketballs are a circle. Also, I don't know if you guys can tell, but this photo behind me is not just pumpkins. There is a basketball in there somewhere. Okay, see if you can find it. I believe it's right there.
You are going with so many tangents right now. I love it.
You nailed it.
I'm back. I'm bringing us back, actually.
No, that's good. That's good. You're getting us back closer to where we need to be.
Back on track.
And Devin, that picture to me just screams Western Mass, right? You got pumpkins. It's the homeland of basketball. Like that's good stuff right there.
I'm going to the Hall of Fame.
That's where my mind went.
Oh, when are you going to the Hall of Fame?
I'm going to the Hall of Fame this weekend to absolutely tomahawk jam on a peach basket. You heard it here first. I'm going to the Michael Jordan room. All right, I got new shoes for it and everything.
I love that.
Wow. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
You need to post some vids.
100%.
Yes.
I'm going to be making all sorts of content in there, dude. You
think
I'm going to the Michael Jordan room and not posting content? Come on. Celtics or Brooklyn? I need to know.
That's where I wanted to go next. Look,
I need to know because I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah, I think you and I are in the same boat here. We're both terrified of the Nets, probably, right? Is that correct?
I mean, I don't know if terrified. If I would categorize myself as terrified, because I know I've heard a rumor. I don't want to get anybody in trouble here, but someone told me there may be selling standing room at the Garden. And if you're selling standing room at the Garden and that place has got an extra, I don't know how many, 1,500, 2,500 people in there, that is the loudest place I've ever been when it's loud. I don't know if Kyrie is going to be able to handle it.
So let me give you some home stats for Tatum.
Be ruthless in the Garden.
Tatum at home in the postseason in his career. 17-9 straight up, 18-8 against the spread, 12-6 straight up and against the spread as a home favorite. So, yeah, I mean, their home court advantage is through the roof.
Yeah.
With that said, we both know how good Kevin Durant, all three of us know how good Kevin Durant is. The guy is one of the 10 to 15 best players in the history of the NBA. That gets you a win regardless. In a 7-game series, that's worth 1 or 2 wins right there alone, no matter where you're playing.
Oh, that's going to 7.
I just like with the home court advantage the Celtics have, that's obviously going to give them a few wins. The numbers bear it out. And Tatum, that first playoff run he had with the Celtics, that team wasn't even very good. Kyrie was hurt. Gordon Hayward was out. He was like the second best player on the team as a rookie. So, Terry Rozier, I think, was the best offensive player on that team. So
Scary Terry.
I think that it's going 7-2, Devin. And in a 7-game series, how can you not be terrified of the team that has 2 of the 3 best players on the court? I think you can make the argument for Tatum being the second best player in the series, but Kyrie's not far behind. I know everyone kind of is out on Kyrie for a lot of reasons, but the guy can still ball, man.
He went 11 for 11 to open that Cavs game. He went 11 for 11, 9 for 9 in the first half, and then he hit his next 2 shots. And, without eating any food. Also, shout out Kyrie. My Boston sports fans won't like this. To do that during Ramadan.
Insane.
Without having eaten or drinking anything for, 12 or 14 hours. That is insanity. I saw on the sideline. I think they were testing his blood sugar or something, because I've seen some people on the challenge have to get their blood sugar taken, so I know what it looks like. I think they were checking his blood sugar, and I was like, why are they doing that? And then at the end, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm participating in Ramadan. Good for you. That is hardcore. So
that's discipline, man.
That is. I don't know if I want to face a guy that's that locked in to anything, and let alone he's an incredible basketball player, and all this rest that he's gotten all season because of the rules in Brooklyn, he's probably the healthiest guy on the court from a physical standpoint, like injury wise. In a 95, 100% Kyrie is scary to me, especially in revenge games in Boston. So, I mean, I got to go Celtics. I will not be surprised if Brooklyn wins the series, and I won't be surprised if Brooklyn wins the East.
Steph, what do you think?
Okay, to win the East, no, that's a hot take. The series is tight. I agree, but when you guys were talking about the home court advantage, I look at who has game 6, because if you have a lead there, how much does that home court advantage benefit you when you're trying to avoid a game 7? I think that and it's at Brooklyn, so I think that home court advantage will be beneficial. But then I look at how solid the Celtics have been all season. And since January, they've been rock solid. Number 1 in offense, defense, best record in games against teams over 500 since then. They've been consistent. I like the Celtics to win the series here. The Nets have just been a little too shaky for me. They do have star power, but I think that's blinding people.
DeAndre Jordan also played out of his mind in that Cavs game. I don't think we're going to see. I mean, if DeAndre Jordan's going to have 20 and 15, then it's not going to be close. But I don't think that's sustainable.
No, and I also think, I know that Bruce Brown had some things to say about Horford and Tice, but like Horford and Tice can handle DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah,
and
well,
they
can they handle Durant attacking the rim though?
That's the issue.
And they handle a cutting Bruce Brown who's got crazy hops, and then can they handle once that penetration starts to set in and they have to sink into the middle and maybe double team Durant when he goes to the block? Then can they handle Kyrie and Seth Curry hitting threes?
No, right? And I don't think that they can for a full series, but Woj is reporting that Robert Williams is going to return, likely to return at some point during the series, right? He said something like, will return at some point in round 1 or whatever the wording was. So we're not going to have him early in the series, but because it took so long for this series to get started because of the play-in stuff, that's going to help Robert Williams get healthy and be a part of the series at some point. And that's necessary for the Celtics to win this series, because when he is on the floor, their net rating is plus 24.4. When he is not on the floor, they're only at plus 1.5. So having Robert Williams in the fold for the Celtics is going to be everything as we get deeper into this series. And look, that's a guy that, like Paul George, you never know if he's too hot or too cold. Like, he's young. He doesn't have that deep playoff experience, but I see him coming in and just being like exactly who he was all season long for the Celtics. I don't think that we're going to see him have playoff jitters. I don't think that you're going to see that guy making playoff mistakes. He just plays basketball. Like, he doesn't really care about anything. He's like Marcus Smart in that regard to me. Like, he's just a hooper. They just love to hoop. They don't care who they're playing. And I think Marcus Smart's going to put the clamps down at Kyrie at some point. I do. Yes, I know that if he's driving with Tice and Horford, like, he's going to probably get his buckets. But Marcus Smart, who's the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year at some point, knows how to defend Kyrie Irving. So I don't know. I'm leaning Celtics. I think it goes 7. But I don't feel great about it.
Just the other day when I was looking at the futures to win the NBA championship, the Nets had the third shortest odds. It's dropped since then. When you look at the two teams that in the East, I think to get through the East, you have a harder way forward, but their odds were the third shortest to win the championship, but to win the East, they were like 4th or 5th. So I think those odds are just banking on them getting through the East. But when you look at them versus the Celtics, do you guys think that whoever wins that series will go to the finals?
I mean, I'm in a tough spot here, but again, I have learned just through a hemorrhaging of my bank account not to bet with my heart. And the Milwaukee Bucks are the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm not betting against them. I'm not betting against Giannis with a healthy Brook Lopez, with all the players that they have around him. Again, with tried and true, played in big games, coming off of a championship. We've seen basketball is the easiest sport to repeat, right? It's very difficult in football. It's nearly impossible in baseball. Rarely see it in hockey, see it in basketball semi-regularly. We've seen several three-peats in basketball, right?
And there's only been like 14 teams that have ever won the title in the NBA.
Yeah, to get there and to show up and to play in those big pressure situations and trust the guys on your team in those moments. The Bucks have all of that. They have the blueprint. They've got what should be a relatively easy series in Chicago. They might sweep that, win at 5-1 maybe. They're going to get rest. Whoever comes out of this Boston-Brooklyn series is going to have a real hard time going and having to play Milwaukee. I get it. You know, if Brooklyn gets out, then Milwaukee's got home court. If not, the Garden comes into play again. We've played well against the Bucks this season, but I like the Bucks coming out of the East. I really do.
You guys have not even mentioned the team I like.
Who, Miami or Philly?
No, Philly.
Philly.
I don't get why there's so much hype on Toronto right now, but it's giving me better odds for the Sixers to play against the Raptors. Do you guys really think that the Raptors will win that series?
No. Who thinks that? People
absolutely
think that?
not. No.
A lot of money's going in on Toronto, and I'm just like, all right, I'll just keep taking it. But they think it's a trap game. Like I don't
maybe game one.
Yeah,
maybe game one's a trap game, but I think you're crazy if you're betting on the Raptors to beat Embiid in a 7-game series.
Well,
that guy is playing out of his mind.
That could come from as well. Toronto is, I believe, the #1 defense against centers in all of the NBA. So if they think that they're going to be able to neutralize Embiid, and then Harden's going to have 25, or someone else is going to have to show up, Thibault's going to have to score 18, like that, I would understand. But I don't think that in a 7-game series with like film study and everything that you can do now in the NBA and analytics, that the team of people in that front office at Philly is not going to be able to look at game film and be like, okay, here's how we can exploit them double teaming Embiid. They're not going to be able to do that for 7 games. 1 or 2 games, I get it. You might be able to slow him down. He, as you said earlier in this broadcast, he's probably the MVP. So I don't know. Can you really? I don't think that Toronto series will be close.
The leading scorer since Shaq, and if he's up against a team that has the best defense against centers, I think he can handle it. But the one concern that I do have, I got very high on the Sixers when they made the Harden trade. That duo is fantastic together, but they're #1 in free throw shooting. And ever since Harden joined Philly, and that concerns me by how much he gets to the charity stripe. When you look at the playoffs, that they don't call fouls as much. So that may be a concern of mine, but that duo I think is the strongest duo in the league. So I think they're picking best Toronto for sure.
I think Tyrese Maxey's going to steal him a game too. Like I think he's going to have one of these games where it's like a welcome to the national stage Tyrese Maxey. And I think he's probably going to win the most improved player award. I think there's buzz for a bunch of guys, but I think he really should win the award. And I think he's going to have at least a moment or two in this series where people are like, oh, Tyrese Maxey is really legit now. So, I think the Sixers take care of business in this series, 5-6 games. And I know the Raptors are the best against centers in the NBA, but Embiid is like not a part of that group in my mind. Like Embiid is a center plus, right? Like Embiid and Jokic are operating on a different level than every other player at that position.
Do you think they would be both playing this well if it was only one of them performing that well? Do you think the fact that there's another guy in the mix is kind of up in the
steel sharpens steel, Stephanie?
Throw some. Hey, you're on notice, Embiid. I think
I don't.
Competition. Giannis is in the mix too, but like he's not being talked about.
No, I think that they're both just individually fantastic, and Embiid has been out with injuries over the years, and Jokic was fantastic at that point. I don't know that they necessarily correlate like why one is doing as well as the other is, but I think it's awesome. It's awesome for the league that they have 2 big men that are playing at this level at the same time, along with Giannis. I mean, the league is just in such a good place when it comes to superstars. All right, so what's everyone's lock of the weekend?
Oh, Jesus.
Give it to me, Devin. You go first.
Of the weekend?
Weekend slate of the NBA.
We got playoff
What's your lock?
too.
Okay. All right. Spitballing a little bit here, right? I got the slate up, right? I'm looking. I like a 3-team parlay.
I knew it was going to be a parlay.
You're doing a parlay for your lock of the weekend?
Always a parlay. It's always a parlay. This is the bet and brunch, #bet and brunch parlay lock of the weekend. It's a 3-team heater. We're going all money lines, okay? Give me the Celtics at home. Give me Denver in game 1. Drum roll, please. Give me Philly over Toronto. Thank you. You heard it here first. Sixers, Celtics, Nuggets, 3-team heater, baby. Boom!
I love it. You know what? That's kind of I feel like that's a safe parlay. I like all of those picks.
Well, we just talked about the guys, right? And for the record, I agree with Stephanie. Steel sharpens steel, right? I don't think we get the Joker or Embiid season that they've had without the other one.
They're both
100%.
Really
Those two guys with those egos, they're looking at the other guy's stats being like, no, this one's got to be mine. I got to go for 40. I like them. I like stars in big games. Give me Philly, give me the Nuggets, and then you can't not take the season home. I'm going to the game. I'll literally be there.
Happy Easter, baby.
Woo!
Steph, what do you got?
All right. I kind of want to do a parlay now, but if it's going to be a lock, it's got to be 2 legs. I'm not going to go out here and say, here's my lock of the weekend and drop 3 legs for a parlay. No, it's going to be 2. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I think it's a lock that the Bucks win, but their odds to take a money line are just trash. So got to hedge it out and make it a parlay and add the 76ers over Toronto.
Ooh, 2-team heater.
Little 2-team heater.
But because I guarantee that both of those happen. And the money line for the Bucks is minus 500. It's ridiculous. So parlay it, and you get two locks in all in one for one parlay.
A nice
Tom,
little safe
better? Which parlay do you think?
Can we do this? Can we all pick one game and make a 3-team heater? Considering that
I like this.
Considering that we are triple trouble, #triple trouble, okay? #triple double.
Right now, we're just heading into war. Let's
okay.
go.
No, I like this a lot, Devin. I like where your head's at. So
yeah, with our powers combined, we're like the Power Rangers.
So let's construct a parlay right now and all commit to it. Can I just pick the Celtics in game 1 at home against the Nets? I know that I don't feel all that comfortable against them over a 7-game series, but I do feel comfortable with the Celtics taking care of business in game 1 here. For all of the home stats that I brought up about Tatum as a Celtic, I think that's a nice, defined period of time to look at. You also can look directly at this matchup. The Nets are really bad against the isolation offense, and Tatum and Brown are 2 of the best in the league at scoring when they're in ISO. Tatum is in the 58th percentile. Jaylen Brown is in the 87th percentile in scoring when they're in ISO. The Nets give up the 11th most points in the league against ISO guys. Tatum and Brown are as good as anyone in the league at getting to the rim, feeding off that Garden energy. Devin is going to be there. I mean,
literally going to be there.
I feel really good about the Celtics in game 1 covering the 4.5. So I'm taking Celtics against the spread as my leg of this 3-way parlay.
I might want to add that into as a 3-leg parlay because I'm looking at my odds right now. It's plus 129. If I add in Celtics to cover in game 1, because you're right, they're at home. I like that. If I add them into my bet slip, let's see where my odds go. Hang on, guys. Because right now, 129 as a lock, I think that's good odds. And so if I add, where is it? Celtics. Okay, where's my bet slip? Parlay.
Get them in there.
Plus 337.
Do it.
I believe that's a prime number. Someone's got to fact check me on that. But I believe 337 is a prime number. I'm not a mathematician, but I think it is.
All right, so Steph,
it's an odd number. I like the odds. Get it?
There you go. What is your one game that you would like to add to our 3-team parlay that we'll be doing together here? What's the one bet that you like outside of Celtics
A bit of a
Nets?
parlay?
Yes, your one bet that you like the best.
So we have Celtics -4.5. What's our second one?
We've got the whole
You're
weekend
about to tell
slate to
us.
pick. Yeah. And
Oh.
any game this weekend, what game do you like the best for us to put in our
We're doing
group
our Power
parlay?
Ranger parlay where we all bring one to the table.
Yeah.
I like
I like
Sixers -4.5.
Okay. Sixers against the spread, Celtics against the spread, and Devin, who you got?
You know we got to kick off the weekend with some hot action. No Paul George, no Clippers. Give me the Pelicans money line.
Let's go.
If only
Pels
we
money
got
line.
it. If only we got it when Tom got it.
Almost is only for horseshoes and golf, hand grenades, something like that.
People usually
was
don't
sure.
include golf in that, but I think you should. Yeah.
If it's inside 6 feet, it's a gimme for me.
What
Clippers
about
are still
Froth?
favored, though. The Clippers are still favored in that game, though. So I think
There's still value. There's still
Yeah.
value to be had.
So we're
All right, so
getting
let's
+1.5.
just be clear here. We're going Celtics and Philly, both -4.5,
Mhm.
and the Pelicans money line.
Done.
Power
Are we-
Ranger parlay.
Spend
Yeah,
the
we're
money
gonna
now.
play.
Honestly, get the money out of your account now because it's coming back. Go buy that couch you want.
+568. 568 are odds there on a parlay.
Cash it now.
Definitely not a prime
Take
number.
it!
Divisible by 2. But it's
I
fine.
need my cash register noise because I placed it.
This
Devin,
broadcast has gone off the rails, and I
Totally.
am here for it.
It's
totally
Friday,
off the
of
rails.
course.
Exactly. It's Friday. So, Devin, before you leave us today, tell the people what you're going to be doing for Vegas Insider both tonight and Saturday.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna. We didn't really leave many stones unturned here, but I will have some time to marinate on some things that maybe we weren't able to get to, right? And I will be joined by Vegas Insider and by Reno Johnny, and we're going to be Twitter spacing it up. We're going to be talking about NBA locks. We're going to be bouncing around prop ideas. We're going to be bringing locks to the table, okay? Taking callers, bringing people on, seeing if they have a lock we haven't thought of, right? We're just going to do this as a community, and then we're going to break the bookies' bank. That is the, recipe that we're bringing to the table. I believe it's today, 6 p.m., and then tomorrow at noon. Does that sound right?
That is correct. Tomorrow at noon. We'll have to check the time on tomorrow, actually.
And you
Stand
wanna
by
know
on
what?
that. But 6
I-
o'clock
Will you be
tonight,
at brunch?
for sure.
Will you be at brunch when you're doing it
Well, I was about to say,
at noon?
if you don't think that I'll be having mimsies tomorrow on that Spaces, you're out of your mind.
It
Literally,
is at noon.
The first noise that will be heard on that broadcast will be the popping of a bottle of champagne. Okay? And I can
absolutely
really
love it.
send it to the moon. I've really mastered my technique. I can really let them fly.
I think I've seen some slow-mo Instagram videos of that before, Devin, of you on a boat firing off the cork.
Are you talking about the sword? I can do the sword too. I actually have
Yeah, I've never done
Yeah.
that, but that'd be fun.
It's signed by Randy Jackson because you're not going to not get his autograph.
Yeah, great Step Brothers reference there. So again, people, 6 o'clock tonight, NBA betting preview, Twitter Spaces, Vegas Insider Twitter, Devin's Twitter at MTV Devin Walker.
Nailed it.
Check it out. Reno Johnny is going to be there as well. And then again, tomorrow at noon, because the first game tips at 1. So you got an hour to get those bets in for the 1 o'clock game, and really to just think about the rest of the day. Are you going to include it in some parlays? What are you going to do? Tomorrow, noon, tonight, 6 o'clock. Check it out on Twitter. Devin, we'll see you in 2 weeks here on the Daily Insider, and I'm sure we'll talk, over the coming weeks here about the NBA.
Go Pelicans.
Pels, baby.
We're all
Let's
riding
go.
the
Appreciate you
Pelicans
guys.
wave.
Thanks,
Done.
Devin.
Stephanie,
At
thanks
the
a
loss
lot.
of Paul George.
Had
We'll
a
see.
blast.
We'll see you.
Yeah, that was
So, Steph,
fun. That was
that's-
so fun.
That's what Devin Walker does for you, man. He brings the energy and he brings the heat. So we got that 3-team parlay. Make sure you get that in. All of you, make sure you get that in. We're all going to lock it
I already
in.
did. Yep.
join the ride with us this weekend. And before we go, Steph, I want to tell our friends about our friends at Sports Illustrated. They've got a sports book. It's for our listeners in Colorado. Check out the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook right now for a great new deal. Get up to $300 in free bets. Make a bet of $10 or more and receive a free $10 bet up to 30 times. New players only, 21 plus to play, located in Colorado only. Promo code ROAD300. That's ROAD 300. A qualifying bet is $10 or more. Minimum odds of -150. Free bet tokens credited after bet is settled and expire after 7 days. Free bet stakes not included in winnings. And for more information, head to sisportsbook.com. There you go. Daily Insider, Friday. It's done. Steph, any big plans for the weekend?
I'm just going to win some bets. I actually am going to brunch tomorrow, though. So
perfect.
I'm definitely going to tune into Devin's Twitter feed, and I'm just going to be popping the bottles. Maybe I'll jump in, give my locks of the day, even though I already did here. But hey,
yeah,
I can play off of what everyone says. I love the community aspects. I want to know whose side everyone's on with the Nuggets. I want to know if they like our parlay. The more we can hear from them, the more fun it is. But
I think that's the best part of gambling is the community that you can foster. So I'm excited. I'm going to be hopping in the Twitter spaces to listen. I'll be interacting on there. I'm sure Steph will be as well. So make sure you guys tune into that on our Twitter feed, on Devin's Twitter feed later today. Should be a good time. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Steph, we will see you on the Daily Insider next week. You guys should check her out on Great Dane Nation. She's been fantastic with Morton as we're plugging away here in the
I have a new record deal coming out, Tom. I have to tell you.
Okay.
I had a few people reach out about my singing voice, and things are looking up for me. You guys thought that was a punishment, but no, I might get a music video off of it, you know? Hey.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what she's talking about, just make sure you bring some earplugs when you go to listen to this week's edition of Great Dane Nation. It's tough. It's tough. That's all I'm going to say. But
it's a little bit cringy.
For myself, Tommy Freeze Pops, for Stephanie Otey, that was the Daily Insider. And best of luck with your bets this weekend. See you guys.